Moving on to two other names we've been watching here, HP and Dell, and I point to those because I think it points to a real trend that we've continued to talk about over the course of this pandemic, which is the increase in sales as a result of work from home. So for HP, sales of PC notebooks up roughly 20%. Dell also seeing sales of consumer devices, which includes PCs, up 14% year on year.
Yeah, and when was the last time we were used to hearing such great news from HP and Dell? Second quarter in a row, by the way, in the pandemic that HP has said, oh, sales of our notebooks are up. And that's all great. But to me, this continues to be one of, if not the most fascinating business stories. And that is which trends that have accelerated or which products that have seen huge sales boosts during the pandemic will actually stick around once the pandemic is over, and which things will go back to normal. So I don't think it's unfair to link this back to the stay-at-home stocks. Now, those aren't all physical laptop companies. Those are Slack, Zoom, Peloton, which sure, it's fitness, but really it's a tech company. It's connected fitness. And remember that as soon as we got news about a vaccine from Pfizer and then from Moderna, we saw all those names that have surged during the pandemic dip big. And I thought that was a little bit of a leap, because once the pandemic ends, do you really think we're going to stop using Slack, Zoom? Do you really think people who bought a Peloton are going to stop using Peloton and leave their houses and go back to the gyms? I don't think so. Now, with HP and Dell and with Logitech, another name that sells physical computer accessories and has seen a huge sales boost during the pandemic, the argument makes a little bit more sense to me. The argument that once the pandemic is over and we all return to the office, or many of us return to the office, the hockey stick they're seeing is probably going to level off. Now, that said, there are a lot of people who think that remote work, or a better term, flexible work, hybrid work, is going to remain the norm. And if that's true, if those predictors are right, that a lot of people will still work from home even once the pandemic ends, then HP and Dell and Logitech could continue to see big sales boosts.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, it seems like investors have sort of started to decipher that work from home trade. We saw that big sell off in Zoom in the initial days after the vaccine announcement, but it's sort of come back up since.